So, if I'm looking a little bit bedraggled, which I probably am, it's because the rain came down. And when I say rain, I mean torrential downpour. But dog has to go out, and dog has to go out, and so we went out regardless. But it did change. The sun came out, blue sky, and it was really warm. Strange. And rainbows, yes. There was a double rainbow over the sea. Oh, gorgeous. So yeah, that was this morning. So anyway, I've come on to do an update. Sorry, the dog's in the window as usual. I've come on to do an update. I've spent the month with the Raven Boys. Now, what do I mean by with the Raven Boys? Well, I'll tell you. I have read. Let me give it all 4 books of the Raven cycle this month. All 4 books. And not only have I done that, where did I get the time? I also used the Raven's Prophecy Tarot alongside. So yeah, I thought I'd immerse myself in the whole world of the Raven cycle. So what did I get from that experience? Well, I've made notes, so the glasses are going on so I can read my notes. Okay, so the books, there are 4 books. It starts with, look, the first book is called The Raven Boys. The second, The Dream Thieves. The third, Blue Lily Lily Blue. And then finally, The Raven King. Yeah, they were each 400-ish pages. Yeah, 417. This one, 450. That was 420, and that one was just under 400, so 388, I think. So yeah, it was a mammoth task, it really was, but I was determined to do it, and I finished them yesterday, just in time for the end of the month, really. Today's the 30th. It's the day when the clocks have changed, and it's out of every day of the year, this is the day that I get a little bit, oh, what's the word? It's not depressed, it's not down, it's just like, oh, winter's coming, summer's officially over. Darker nights, don't like it. I don't like the darker nights. I am a summer type person. I like the sun, I like the heat, I like the warmth, and especially with the state of things at the moment, with the heating, you know, the oil crisis, but you know, all of it, I'm not going to go into it, but with all of that and the expense that trying to keep warm this winter is going to entail, I'm not looking forward to it even more this year. It's just, no. Back to the video. Sorry, got a bit sidetracked there. Yes, so the books, they're about 4 teenagers. I'm not going to go too deep into this. It's just a little synopsis, so the way it relates to the actual tarot deck. She's also got another tarot deck called the Scorpio Races, I think it is, that goes with a set of books, which I haven't read, but although I have got that tarot. Anyway, so there's 4 teenagers. There's Blue, who's the girl. There's Adam, Ronan, and Gansey. Gansey is his surname, so he goes by, his name's Richard Gansey, but he goes by Gansey. And the books are all about synergy. It's about how 4 individual troubled teenagers find strength as a group. They each have their own demons. Their backgrounds are totally different to each other. They hold secrets, they hold fears. The books are about bravery, about facing their fears and challenges. They're about accepting their past, finding support by being together. it's about trust. So Gansey is the posh one. He goes to the Raven boys. Let me back up. The Raven part of it is to do with the school that the three boys attend. There's also other characters that come and go in here, but anyway. So the three boys attend the same school, and the school crest is a raven, so that's where the raven part of it comes in. Also, one of the characters, Ronan, has got one on his back tattooed, and also he gets a familiar raven. They've each got magical talents that aren't immediately apparent. Ronan's character is sort of the bad boy, troubled boy. Gansey is the posh boy, comes from money, very powerful, rich parents. And who else? We've got Adam. Adam's background is one of abuse, parental abuse. It's quite sad, really. And Blue is the girl, and she goes to a different school, but she gets caught up in all of this through her mother and her mother's clan, if you like. There's a group of women that Blue lives with, and they're psychics, and they have psychic hotlines, and they read tarot cards, which is where this came from. Now, I found it really difficult to connect to the women, Maura, Blue's mother, and the other women. I got very confused. I understood Maura, I got that character, but I found it really difficult to form a solid impression of the other ones. It wasn't really until about the third book that she fleshed some of those characters out. I found them a bit difficult to connect to. But then, I mean, the series really is about the four teenagers. So they were really well-rounded. We're really fleshed out characters. And it was all about really the power of relationships. So the mother's relationships with the other women, the power of three, and then the teenagers' relationships with each other and how they developed and changed and grew. It was about facing their inner demons. Because I'm from the UK, even though part of it references Wales, I found when we're reading books, we're working on imagination, aren't we? So we imagine the scenes, we imagine the landscapes. And of course, I've never been to America, so I mean, I've seen it. I've seen films that are filmed in America, so I've got that sort of image in my head. But having never been there, or tangibly experienced it, it's all got to come from my own imagination, and I found that a little bit challenging at times as well. So the teenagers are really all of them trying to escape their parents' influence. They're quite different. The parents are quite different. So Blue's mother, I won't go into the father does show up, but Blue's mother is a psychic, and so she's ensconced in that whole world, ensconced in that whole world. She always has been. That's what she knows. So she's been brought up with psychics. Although she's not one herself, her talent is to enhance theirs. She's almost like plugging into a socket and getting the charge. She actually charges and enhances their psychic powers. I am sorry if I'm getting distracted, but my neighbour next door is talking very loud on the phone, and it is distracting me. But I will carry on regardless. Anyway, so where was I? The parents. So yeah, Ganzi's parents are very influential, rich people, and he's moved away from them to the school. So he's trying to escape their influence, but he keeps getting pulled back by it, and not very happy about that. Ronan's parents are, I cannot, without spoiling the books, your enjoyments of the books, if you decide to read these, I really can't go too much into Ronan's parents. They are very, very interesting parents. That's all I'm going to say about that. And Adams are, he comes from a trailer park and his parents are abusive. So he's trying to escape that. That's probably all. Let me see. That's probably all I'm going to really say about books. I'm just going to look up my notes. Okay. Just two more things. One, Ganzi is obsessed and has been forever, it seems, with a dead king from Wales and his pursuit of finding this king. So that's the focus really of his journey and how he brings everybody else into that quest. It's a search for a long dead king. Yeah. The other thing is Blue has a vision of Ganzi before she even meets him. And she is told by the psychic women in her life, that if or when she kisses her true love, he will die. And in the vision, Ganzi dies. And that's the setup right from the beginning. So it's quite interesting how that story develops. I did enjoy the books. I found them a little bit difficult at times, because she was dealing with sort of magical concepts and trying to explain those. I found that a little bit difficult to follow in some, not all of it, in some of it. I'm glad I read the books. The reason I read the books was to connect with the deck. I wanted to see if I could connect with the deck by reading the books. Now, spoiler alert, you don't need to read the books to use the tarot deck. It is a standalone. There are sort of references, vague references in the book, in the deck, to the energy of those books, but there's no direct reference. It is a standalone deck. And my neighbour is still talking very, very loudly. We'll carry on regardless. Okay. So what parts of the deck did I sort of recognise from the book? Well, first off, the Fool. Oh, we've got a bit of a glare going on there. Try and get it in. There we go. The Fool. That is Blue. And you can see her aura all around her. And she's going into this blind. She doesn't know what she's getting herself into, but she's going in anyway. So it was a really good use of a Fool's energy within this, relating to the story, I would say. Although I say it's not directly referenced in the guidebook at all. In the book, there is a magical forest called Capeswater, and I think the Empress is Capeswater. Within Capeswater, they go into a tree and have visions. Each has different visions that look like a future, a possible future. And I think that is depicted in The Hermit. devil, we see a mask. And there's a part in the book about Adam, and there's a mask involved, and in the vision, half of his face comes off as he tries to get the mask off. So I think that's that reference. What else? I think my favourite part of this deck are the sword suit, and that's quite surprising, isn't it? Because swords are usually quite a difficult suit to deal with. But in this deck, Maggie's depicted the sword as hands. So we start off the major arcana. I'm just going to show you the hands cards. So the magician has all the signs on his hands. So it's just showing that he's got everything he needs inside of himself. He doesn't need anything external, it's all within. So I like that. We've got a high priestess holding a mirror up with a hand. Then we've got strength, a strong fist, the sun, so here it's shown as a ball of energy, and that is actually referenced in the book as well, in the final book. Illuminating the darkness, huh? We've also got one in the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands, again controlling an element. And then, as I said, the sword. So I'm just going to quickly go through to find them. The sword suit. So here we have, I mean, it seems like the same hand throughout as well, but I like the way she's done this. It's very cleverly done, just very simple images to convey a message, like the Three of Swords here is not a heart being pierced. Come rest. Very, very simple imagery. This one, isn't that perfect for a Seven of Swords? Fingers crossed behind your back. Ooh. 8. I think that really references Ganzi's relationship to the king, Glendower. Not so obvious. Okay, so those are, well, apart from there is another one in the coin suit, 6, where again holding in the hands. So there we go. That's her use of hands, which I thought was very, very good. The king, the Glendower himself, I think are shown in a few cards, I would say. So the Emperor, Death. It's quite obvious to have him as Death, wouldn't it? Judgment, and I believe that to be Ganzi's journal. He really is obsessed with this quest. And in a bit of chaos there, look, there's the crown. Let's think about the other suits now. So the coins are all roses. 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 This page of coins, to my mind, will be better as the ace of coins. Just a personal note. Queen of coins has got a crown of roses, and the king has got a fully bloomed rose. My cards all mixed up. So she said the reason that she chose roses for that suit is because roses take a lot of work. What you see is absolutely beautiful, but to get that beauty takes a lot of knowledge and a lot of work, which is why she chose roses. For cups, because cups are all about relationships, then she's shown them all as ravens. Now that actually makes total sense. Cups. Just go through that. As the Raven boys and Blue and their relationships, they fight, they love, they fall out, they make up, they don't understand each other, then they do understand each other. Feathers fall. So that makes absolute sense. The one suit contains my absolute favourite card in the suit, in the deck, sorry. And it's the 7. I love that depiction of the 7 of Swords. 7 of Wands, sorry. 7 of Wands. That's my absolute favourite depiction of the 7 of Wands. In fact, I think I'll read out the book, the 7 of Wands. Let's find. Ooh. Gives you a flavour of the book as well. So the key words are strategy, priorities, and defence. It's time to defend yourself. You have the high ground. So at least you can hold that knowledge close as the enemy comes at you. When the 7 of Wands appears, it usually means that you find yourself being attacked, often on a personal level. Unlike the 5 of Wands, where the world is coming at you from multiple directions without coordination, the threat in the 7 of Wands is more united. You're outnumbered, with only your wits, experience, and principles to bolster you. You'll need to be strategic to protect yourself, your ideas, and your projects. They might be asking you to explain yourself, to defend your choices, wanting to toss you from your seat at the feast. Rally all your wits and confidence to keep yourself on course. Sometimes just being good at what you do won't be enough. There may be shouting involved. And she said, I chose an image of a hand sheltering the creative flames from the pelting rain that would douse them, because that is what you need to protect in all of this. The fire inside that makes you uniquely you. Stay the course. Be as clever as you can and don't compromise your principles. Isn't that lovely? I love that card. Love that card. So yeah, the other thing I just wanted to talk about is at the beginning of each minor arcana suit, she gives an overall view of that suit. And I thought the Swords was quite interesting. She said, no one particularly likes being, can't say particularly, can't say it. It's like regularly, I can't say that either. But anyway, no one particularly likes being stabbed. Not even metaphorically, and yet that is what we find in the Sword suit. The Swords are a suit of conflict and argument, of logic and discussion. In the old days, arguments were settled by sword. In these days, we let our words do the work, and sometimes they can be even more painful. This suit generally appears when you need or are on the cutting edge of some hard steel. A reading that is dominated by swords generally indicates that you're undergoing a lot of conflict in your life, often untempered by emotion. Artistically, I've picked hands to illustrate the swords, a nice compromise, I thought, between blades and words, and also appropriate to a suit where the conflict is often entirely contained within your own person. Your life is in your own hands, huh? So yeah, the guidebook is 180 pages, 181, 184 pages. It comes in a, is it Llewellyn? Yeah, it's a Llewellyn deck. So you get the nice Llewellyn box with a ribbon. So yeah, I've had an interesting month with this deck. I've done daily draws with it. I've journaled with it. I found it succinct, the information. It's not directly related to the 4 books. There is no need at all to read the 4 books to understand the deck. I think I said it before, didn't I, a couple of times, but yeah, it's standalone. You don't need it. But I did enjoy reading the books. Probably going to read them again because, as the plot develops and I know what the plot was about, I can now go back and make sense of some of the things that I couldn't make sense of in the first read through. Some parts of it I did rush because I knew I had a time constraint to do this month 4 books, and it was a big ask of me. It's not something I don't think I'd repeat to try and do it in such a small time frame, because reading that fast, obviously you don't digest all the nuances, But in a way, I'm going to be glad to put it away, because a month with that deck was, I think, a little bit too much. It didn't. Towards the third week, I was getting a little bit meh with it. I've got to be honest, I was. I needed something more. I needed something with a bit more depth to it. And doing the walkthroughs, getting the Sufi tarot, and doing, a few walkthroughs of some of the decks that I've got or purchased has whetted my appetite for those, and I really want to delve into some of those. So I will be glad to put that away. I am very glad that I have worked with it. It was a good learning curve for me, I think, to actually discipline myself, because I'm not the most disciplined person when it comes to tarot and oracle decks. I like to, bit of this, bit of that. And I did use an oracle deck alongside it, which is, I can't even remember what it's called now, but I'll put it underneath the one I did. And I got a little bit weary of that one too. I don't know, it wasn't giving me enough to work with, really. I needed a bit more depth than that oracle deck was giving me. So I'm going to use something else next month. So the next book, I've started reading, is this one, library book, Sisters of the Solstice Moon by Gina Martin, recommended by Giselle at Mad Witch Tarot. I love her channel. That's the book I'm reading now. That's the Sisters of the Solstice Moon, and it's completely different to the Raven's Prophecy, completely different. I think I'm going to enjoy this one, and there's another book that follows up as well, which, depending how I get on with this one, I might carry on and read the second one. So that's it, really. Kai's here, still feeling sorry for himself, because all that hair cut off does mean that he's feeling the rain, he's feeling the elements and the wind of his tail. Come and say hello, Kai. Oh, la la la. Oh, baby boo. Come on. Come and say hello. There he is. There's baby boo. Oh. Okay, so until the next time, bye from me. Bye from Kai. Say bye, Kai. Bye, Kai. And I think the rain's coming back, but there we go. So from the shorter days, longer nights, here we go. Never mind. Spring will come again, as Genesis said in one of their songs. Okay, bye. I do waffle sometimes. Bye.